Hi, my name is Ray Robb, and I'm the driver of the number 51 Biohaven Honda for Dale Coyne and Rick Ware Racing in the NTT IndyCar Series. And today I'm going to demonstrate to you guys the Simucube 2 Ultimate. As a young athlete, it's important to have seat time. And one of the things about motorsports is that we have an off season. You know, if you're a golfer, a basketball player, a football player, you can go out and shoot hoops, you can go hit golf balls, you can go to the driving range, you can play catch with your dad, whatever else. But as a motorsports athlete, you have to go to a racetrack. You have to have the cart, car, whatever it may be, in order to get that practice time. And when I'm only driving 6 months out of the year in real life, the simulator gave me time away from the racetrack in my home or whatever else it may be, where I could develop that seat time. And although it might not be the exact same variables all the time, similar to what a racetrack has, it's very, very realistic in the sense that it's allowing my mind to connect those myelin and practice the ideas and thought processes and successes that will translate to being at a real racetrack. So previously, I drove the Simucube 2 Pro, and that was a great wheel. It had good fidelity, great feedback, and it was great for the junior ranks of open wheel racing. But when stepping up into IndyCar, because we don't have power steering, and there's a lot of downforce and a lot of grip, I needed that extra torque that came from the Simucube 2 Ultimate. And not only that, but it also increased in the slew rate. That slew rate helps me feel more on the racetrack. It gives me really good, consistent feedback that I can translate to the racetrack. And so right now, we're driving at Laguna, Seca, which is a super hilly road course in California. And I actually have the wheel torque turned down so I can talk to you guys right now. But one of the beautiful things about running the Simucube 2 Ultimate at a track like this is that it's very physically demanding. So we're coming up to the corkscrew now, and you enter the brake zone, do a big brake, and then right about here, you point, land the car at the bottom of the hill there. And when I mean land the car, you're actually entering the turn and then dropping off with almost unweighted wheels. It's easy to learn a track, you know, left-hand turn, right-hand turn, straight away, off camber, etc. But it's the details that make a big difference in how you handle the car. And without a high feedback, very detailed hub, you can't feel those nuances, those details, so that when you get to the track, you become oversaturated with that. For example, Barber Motorsports Park has a lot of off camber, lots of compression, and there may be a bump there. And that bump could be the difference between hitting a wall or setting the fastest lap time. And all that it really takes is a couple miles an hour to make that error. And so having a simulator that allows me to push the limits and feel that feedback, that detail that comes from the Simucube 2 Ultimate, it allows me to understand the consequences once I arrive at the racetrack. That oversaturation in practice helps me feel normal and active in the car when I get in reality. There are many advantages to using the Ultimate. One of them is the high torque. That high torque, it may not be as important in the junior ranks, because in the junior ranks, you're not dealing with this high downforce or high level grip. But as you move into the IndyCar Series, we're doing speeds of 220, 230 miles an hour. And that high torque, it allows me to practice focusing on the physical side while driving those speeds, because at those speeds, there's no room for error. And one of the things I like to talk about while going at those speeds is that even though the car is going faster, as a driver, you have to slow down. You have to be more in control. And so if you're not prepared physically for that, then you're gonna make mistakes. And mistakes at 230 miles an hour mean big impacts and a lot of damage. Another thing with that is that the advantage of having higher torque is higher saturation of the driver's mind. One of the things that is really important as athletes is that we avoid what I like to call brain fade. And that's when you see mistakes made. That's when you see drivers that are way out in the lead, when they hit that rhythm, when they're by themselves, drive off the racetrack or hit the wall or whatever else it may be. And so it's my job to work on and practice oversaturating my senses all the time. So I'm not burning out, I'm not hitting that rhythm, I'm not fading. And so for that higher torque, it's really, really good to train. We're dealing with heart rates anywhere from 140 to 180 beats per minute for over 2 to 2.5 hours. And when you're doing that, your mental focus also goes away. And so you have to make sure that what you're doing at home, practicing, is even more difficult than what I'm doing in the car. And so the Ultimate wheel allows me to do that. I can tune that power up, and that extra power means that it's actually more difficult than what the IndyCar might be offering. And so I'm practicing beyond what I might see. And even if I do see that, I'm already prepared for it. So I have the wheel turned up all the way, and this is the first time that I've used it at 100%. Oh yeah, there it is. Like I'm working a lot. I'm working a lot right now. The Ultimate wheel is very realistic. One of the things that I like to feel is super high fidelity. And with a wheel that has that much power, it also, I think, allows for more fine tune. And that's a beautiful thing about the Simucube. It has a lot of tuning ability. And so as a driver, you can kind of feel it out in the race car and then tune it to be what it is in real life. And we're not always looking for what's most comfortable, because if it was comfortable, I wouldn't want the extra power, the extra fidelity. But because I want that to experience it in my home on my own simulator, I can make sure that I'm prepared for it when I get out to the racetrack. And so part of that reality is having super high frequency, super strong, good kickback, and making it consistent. Consistency is very important, because if it's an inconsistent feedback, then it's not adjustable. It's not adjustable to what the driver needs to feel. The driver needs to be able to adapt to the conditions around them. And if the conditions are always adapting around the driver, it's not gonna work well. Thanks for watching. If you were interested at all in the Simucube 2 Ultimate or any other Simucube products from this video, make sure you go to simucube.com and check it out. And feel free, if you see me at a racetrack in the IndyCar Series race or anywhere else, stop me, come say hi, talk to me about the simulator, ask questions, love to talk to you about it.